If you find yourself driving along the back roads of America, just remember you're going to run into some pretty small towns with a gas station, a diner, and some locals that know you're not from around here, are you? You might want to get out of town before sundown. But some of these unique individuals will actually be very happy to see you because you're a tourist. You're one of them tourists, aren't you? So just make sure to treat them nice, tip them well at their local diner, stop at a gas station, and go on your way. But some of these unique individuals might actually end up needing a ride from you because they don't get out much and they don't have many of them their fancy automobiles. So you need to make sure that you ensure your total 100% safety if you want to give one of these unique individuals a ride, such as, where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Where'd you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But the most important question, to be perfectly honest, is you're not a maniac or anything, are you? Roadkill is currently streaming on Tubi. It was written and directed by Warren Fast, who also plays the sheriff in this movie. You can check out his IMDb page for the full list of his work. And the biggest named actress in this particular cast is Danielle Harris as Allison, who is a crossword discovering and crossword solving waitress at a local diner in whatever the fuck little borough town this is. I don't actually know. There are Florida license plates, so I don't know. Maybe it's Gatorsville. I don't really know anything about Florida outside of the big cities. That being said, yeah, Danielle Harris is in this. But we have the driver, Caitlin Carmichael, who is driving, picks up a drifter, played by Ryan Knudsen, and they end up going on a trip, and then bodies start to pile up, and the sheriff and the deputy are trying to figure out and solve this mystery before everybody is history. Roadkill Tales, woohoo! So yeah, when it comes to movies streaming on Tubi, especially if it's horror adjacent, or, you know, any kind of suspense mystery thriller with a little bit of the action and the blood and the sexiness and everything, you're going to get a few categories. You're going to get something surprising. You're going to get something okay that was like, all right, that was digestible but not great. Then you have this big old cavernous category over here, which is really hard to say. It's so goddamn bad that you're not sure if you should laugh, not sure if you should cry, or not sure if you should, I don't know, maybe take out a petition to make sure that movies like this never get made again. Yeah, I'm probably tipping my hands on how I felt about this. This is a concept that has been done time and time again. But in this case, well, I have seen terrible movies before, and I recognize this is a low production. This, and I mean low as far as acting quality. I'm sorry, I'm sure everybody tried, but Jesus Christ. It's like they just pointed the camera at people but didn't yell action. So they're like, okay, great, perfect, that's good, we'll just go with that. I love Danielle Harris. I mean, great, good that she's getting work. You know, one of the best scream queens, in my personal opinion. Started off in one of the Halloween movies, was in the Rob Zombie Halloween movie. Looking as only she can look, a terrific actress. But God damn it, this was really, really bad. Really apocalyptically bad, like just on every level. There is a chase sequence where the sun keeps changing. Like, and I'm not talking like, okay, it moves like 30 minutes or moves maybe even an hour, whatever. You can hide that. I'm talking the sun maybe is dawning in some shots and then is setting in other shots. And this chase sequence goes maybe 3 minutes. And I know that they probably had to shoot this thing on weekends and probably had to make sure that they, you know, shot it whenever, I don't know, maybe people weren't looking like, what are you shooting? Martha, they're shooting one of them motion pictures over there. I don't know why I'm picking on the local yokels. Hey, Ma, get off the dang roof. And the thing about the movie is none of the twists actually work. Everything is telegraphed. It's pretty obvious that there are no redeeming qualities as far as any of the people. Well, I mean, maybe I guess one, kinda, that maybe gets a little bit up their own goddamn, you know, or in their own goddamn head so much. But the thing is, it tries to make an amalgamation of like a revenge thriller and a few other revenge thrillers. Human Centipede them together in a plotting, barely getting out of first gear thriller. This is not good. I'm sorry, this is not good. There's a reason why this is on Tubi. It's an ad-based streaming service. You can catch movies like this and look. There are terrible movies, and this is not even the worst movie that's on Tubi. I have seen far more inept than this, but this isn't as bad as Bite, believe me. This is not as bad as Bite. But this is pretty goddamn terrible. So I am going to get into spoilers, and I'm sorry. I can't ignore when something's really bad. These fight sequences, they actually made me think, has anybody even seen a movie before? What the hell is going on here? Good God. Anyway, I'm going to get into spoilers because I have a few things I want to talk about. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So yeah, vengeance takes the open road. Young woman, Caitlin Carmichael, picks up a drifter. So, Uncorked Entertainment. The instant I saw that, I said, oh, that explains a lot. Because Uncorked Entertainment is like one of those independent film companies that, yeah, I think the fanciest thing about most of their movies is the goddamn wine graphic. So, there is a mother acting and getting upset at her little shit kid saying, you little shit. How many takes did they do for these goddamn scenes? She gets upset at him. She throws him in the goddamn doghouse because he won't eat dog food, and then she kills the dog so you don't got to fight with the dog over dog food. And it turns out this actually the drifter is played by the adult Ryan Knutson. It's in the summer of 1983, that glorious year when better slashers came out. So at least it explains that. I will give them that much credit. And I will say that this movie at least tries to keep the 80s grindhouse feel to it. I don't fault them for that. That might actually be the only thing worth praising. But basically, he ends up getting picked up by Caitlin, I'm just going to say. And she, before she picks him up, says, you're not a maniac or anything, are you? And she happens upon this house where it's like weird and everything. Like, he sees a family and it's like, oh my god, he's going to end up killing. And spoilers, no, he wasn't going to end up killing the family. And then they stop for gas. Awkward exchanges keep happening. They stop for gas. They go to a diner. They then get, caught by the cops eventually because of things and driving. Lots of driving. More driving than the goddamn movie Drive. More driving than a goddamn NASCAR race. So, yeah. Basically, it turns out that this girl's lying. This guy, obviously, is a drifter that has his own issues because of mommy issues and all that stuff. But, yeah, let's just point out here that nobody is worth rooting for in this. So, the police suddenly show up. Don't stand so close to them. Sting told you that. The sheriff obviously seems to know a little bit too much about these killings and is a little bit too persistent about wanting to pin, this stuff on this drifter. But the drifter has to be the killer, right? No. He's actually not the person behind this stuff. So, the coroner shows up because there's this blue car. These two black kids fishing near a fishing hole somewhere, I assume. Could have been fishing on the moon for all I goddamn cared. They find this couple that's dead in a goddamn car. Oh my god! So, Danielle Harris looking as only she can look. I really think she's tremendous. And, of course, Deputy Corey, as I'm going to call him. Damn it, Corey, you keep screwing up everything. So, they happen upon this diner, conveniently. And the fry cook's a little bit of a creep. The fry cook tries to pin Caitlin Carmichael down in the bathroom. She's a very pretty girl, I do want to say, but don't do that. Don't assault people. What the fuck? It turns out that she was having flashbacks because, you know what? This man assaulted her when she was a child. So she basically stomps on him after breaking his elbow and stomp. Before that, Danielle Harris was doing some crossword puzzling. News report in 80s aesthetic, which I will give them credit for. Highway Hunter, the highway to the Hunter Zone. The makeup effects, I guess, were okay to an extent. It looks like they just kind of spread raspberry jam on their face a few times for the blood. But, yeah, she is the one doing these killings. Why is she the one doing these killings? Well, because it turns out that her dad actually passed her around to a whole bunch of his friends because her dad was a creep and probably abused her as well. This is explained later on. Yeah, they're trying for a nice spit on your grave moment. Which, yes, that woman should have absolutely taken revenge. And yes, you shouldn't have done that, to anybody. I don't care if they're your blood or whatever. And that would have been a fine story if the acting ability of anybody in this particular movie was anything above a bad high school production. I have been in a few bad high school plays when I was in school, and guess what? We weren't very good. And we still acted better than this. I'm sorry. Everybody can get better, and I hope this cast does go on to do bigger and better things, but this was not good. Warren Fast was, I guess, okay as a sheriff. So, yeah, they get in a bit of a, her and the Drifter getting a bit of a tizzy. She gives him something that's laced with acid. It's her joint or whatever the fuck it is. And then he's having weird, creeped out visuals. He tries to pull a knife on her because of that, because she was upset. Oh, you're all the same, because he has killed before. But then the cops show up and they find her and she plays the victim. They haul them both to jail. And a pretty... One, the fight in the car was horrible. Two, the acting, I'm sorry, the acting, I just can't get over how bad the dialogue is. The dialogue's no better, by the way. So, there's a fight scene in particular where she ends up pinned down. The deputy is basically being forceful with her, and she ends up, somehow reaching back, biting his ear off, and then choking him out with the handcuffs. Which, okay, if this was a revenge thriller where people were worth rooting for, who knows, maybe it would have worked. Meanwhile, the Drifter is being talked to by the writer, and, oh, these are my killings, and I'm going to pin them on you. No, really, that's what he said. But she has been doing her own revenge killing. He knew there was something off, the Drifter did, and she ended up wanting to kill the sheriff, because the sheriff is one of the guys. We see some flashbacks about her being assaulted. And yeah, again, that is something that could have worked, but the movie is so messy. It's both singular focused and also incomprehensibly just all over the place as far as messiness. It's just nuts. It's also just deeply bland and generic, and it doesn't help that you really don't care about anybody involved. So she basically decides that she's going to kill this Drifter guy. It's like, because... Here's why he discovered bodies in the trunk. And the bodies in the trunk were that family where the Drifter happened upon, because she was going to kill them because, one of the guys that was there was one of the guys that assaulted her. It's probably the guy in the flashback. Maybe. I don't really fucking care. But it's like, because lying with pigs makes you a pig, and pigs are bred for slaughter. I understand they did a few takes, and that was the one they went with. So they get in a bad fight. He stabs her, but she somehow survives. He dies. And then we cut to, a news report where she has escaped. Daniel Harris is coming up with, the answer to a particular deal, and it's Roadkill. And then we cut to credits, where we get anime. I think the animated or cartoon or comic style credits were actually where most of the budget went. And then Daniel Harris looks suddenly shocked because somebody came back in. Naturally, it's Caitlin. And yeah, this gets an F. I'm sorry. I went a bit longer than I thought, but I have some things I wanted to talk about. There were some terrible, terrible sequences in this. Just as a horror movie fan, or as just a movie fan in general, I can forgive a lot. I can take low budget, but good grief. I don't even know if this will crack my top 10, though. This might not even crack my top 15. I have seen so much dreck this year, but this is pretty goddamn dreadful. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.